Hello and welcome to the Corona Yoga Challenge. Today is day 94. We are fast approaching 100. At 100, I promise you, I will make you a really nice questionnaire. Oh yes, certificate. And also after that, things will change a little bit, but I promise you there's going to be daily inspiration to do your practice. There'll be some teaching. And thank you to Susan Cooper for some fabulous ideas. I'm going to enjoy playing with them, and I'm sure you will enjoy them as well. So we are going to, check my website, make sure you're adapting your poses so that it really suits you and your body, and do subscribe if you'd like to. We're going to come into all fours to start with. So a nice comfortable all fours position. You're going to start to slide your hips forwards and back. So a nice smooth movement over the back, following your breath, allowing the body to feel nice and comfortable and even as you move. You're going to take a little bit more space between your hands and your knees if it's comfortable, if you'd like to. Enjoy that easing and stretching out. And then you're going to bring your hands on all fours closer in towards your knees. You're going to lift up with your toes, so we're tucking under. So this is just if it's good for your feet, ankles, knees, hips. And then from there you're going to let your knees come up and away from the floor. So stretching down through the tailbone at the same time. Walk your hands forwards. Let your weight come into the hands, so ease yourself down a little bit and then back up. Hands come back into your knees. You're going to lift your knees up. Now you're going to sink your heels down to the floor if it's comfortable. Make sure your shoulders stay relaxed and down. And then walk yourself forward so that you're again coming into your hands and knees. You can ease a little bit forwards. And then walking your hands back towards your feet. Heels sink down to the floor. We settle ourselves down so the shoulders are moving down and away. And then you're going to bring your palms together. You're going to settle them up and onto your head. And you're going to start to ease yourself forward. So you're going to allow your knees to come a little bit wide. And you're curling your head down towards your ankles. So we're very much coming into that C-curve shape with the spine. And we're looking at that C-curve shape coming through the back of the hips, the back of the waist, the shoulders, the neck. And you might notice different areas of the back stretching out as you do this. So just enjoy the feelings for you. And then taking your hands onto the floor, you're going to walk yourself all the way back out. From here, you're going to extend one leg out behind for a moment, and then the other one. Just checking it's still recording because it was playing up earlier. So we're going to come up to standing now. So if you want to walk your hands back in towards your knees, your hips are going to sink down and your feet are going to sink down. And then we're going to press down through the feet to lift up through the hips. You're going to let your head fall forwards, knees remain that little bit soft so the back of the body stays relaxed. And then bend through your knees, lift up through the tummy, pelvic floor, up through the hands, stretch all the way up and overhead and down to your heart. We're going to come to standing now. So if you want to bring yourself to a comfortable standing position. So you're going to take one little step forward with your foot. And what we're going to do is we're going to do like what I like to think of as Egyptian hieroglyph yoga. So we're going to keep the stand really narrow. We're going to get that feeling of spreading down through the feet, down through the legs. That's also going to give us a kind of converse lifting up through the pelvic floor and up through the rest of the body. You're going to let your hands come wide, your shoulders are going to relax down. So you're going to get that feeling wide open across the upper back. And then you're going to sweep your hands together so you take your hands up and onto your head. But instead of coming down as we did just now, we're going to start to press into the feet and gently lift up and through the rib cage, up and through the elbows. So nice and steady with the feet. Get that lovely feeling of lift and life through the body. And then take your weight into your front foot. Step your hands, your foot forward, hands come out and down. And then opposite foot's going to step in front. So again, just a little step, so just natural and kind of fairly neutral in some ways. But then we've got that really strong energy coming down, that lifting up through the body, as well as coming down, of course. Letting your hands come together, setting them up and onto your head. Press into the feet, lift up with the elbows. Enjoy that feeling of making space. And then step yourself forwards and back to hands beside your sides. We're going to do one more on each side. We're going to keep with that little step, and you can make the step even smaller, because somehow almost keeping the step smaller can become slightly more difficult. We always imagine bigger things are difficult, but sometimes the little things are difficult. Hands are going to come wide, shoulders release down. Bring yourself up and onto your head, or your hands up and onto your head. Press into both feet, keep nice and steady as you lift up. Enjoy that feeling of space and easiness in your breathing. And then take a little step into the front foot. Bring yourself back. And then opposite foot's going to step forward. So same thing, see if you can keep that weight coming down through both feet. So we're really aware of both feet. We're really aware of both legs. Hands are going to sweep up and onto your head. Press down through your feet, lift up through the elbows. Gently expand and open. And then step into your front foot, bring yourself back and to both feet settled. We're going to come down to the floor now, so if you want to bring yourself to sitting, and you're going to have, if you come into an all fours position to start with, so you're just going to be in a comfortable all fours position. You're going to take your hips back and into your heels, so you end up kneeling, kind of back into kneeling, and you'll probably find that your heels have come away from one another a little, and they're underneath you. What we're going to do is we're going to come into the possibility of coming into half hero pose, which is where we're sitting between our feet. It's really important that this one usually asks a fair bit of the knees and the hips and the ankles, so it's really important that you're probably going to need a block for this, so you might just want to pause just now and get it. So I'll just presume you've done that. You're going to come into all fours, you're going to lift one foot up, and you're going to have your foot close in towards the other knee. And then you're going to take your hands onto the floor so you can start to sink yourself back, and it's as if you're sitting yourself really close to this foot. Now this foot, make sure it's not coming out to the side or doing anything weird. This is really not great for your knee joint. So it's important that the foot is staying close in towards you, and then this other foot can just step in. And you're going to hook your arm around your knee, and we're going to get a feeling of lifting up through the lower back. So it's so important that we've got that lift through the lower back. This is where usually the block will come in. So to come back out, you press into your hands, lift yourself up. Because for many people, coming down onto the floor is not going to work. If you come onto the floor, you're going to end up with that feeling like, oh my goodness, hard work, and the back just not being happy. So much better to be up on a block and get the lower back lifting and start to get this sinking feeling down through the hips. So the sinking feeling down through the hips is so important, because that's what's giving us a kind of stability and a kind of sensibleness in the pelvis that everything else is going to grow from. So we've got the lift up and through the back of the pelvis. Arm is hooked round this leg. Just get that out of the way for a moment. And then your hand is going to settle onto the floor. So see if you can let both shoulders be relaxed down, and then just ease yourself up and round. Bring yourself back to the centre, and then you're going to come in towards your front knee. So again, just gently support through the knee. Hand comes onto the floor as you ease into the open space. Bring yourself back to the centre. And then we're going to come back up, so we're going to take our hands onto the floor, lift your hips away, and then we're going to bring the other foot forwards. So we're lifting our hips away so that we don't kind of wobble over the knee joint, which is not so nice for it. So again, from here, hands onto the floor, sink your hips down towards the ground so that you're settling yourself comfortably. Make sure that the foot that's folded in is close in towards your hips. Other knee can gently move in towards you. Hook round with your arms so you can use up and round. Shoulders stay relaxed. And we've got a feeling of really sinking down through the pelvis, and that's what's giving us that lovely feeling of life and freedom through the rest of the body. Bringing yourself in towards your front knee, and then gently hook all over so you can enter into the open space this time. So moving away from your front knee. Bringing yourself back to the centre, hands on the floor, lift your hips up, and then if you bring one leg out, extend it behind you, and then the other leg. We're going to come to do a little bit of breathing now, so if you want to bring yourself to a comfortable position where you can sit and be relaxed. So what we're going to do is we're just going to be focusing in on the tummy area, and we're going to be noticing the way that the body expands and the way the body contracts. So to start with, just allow yourself to breathe evenly. So just breathe, that's all. And then start to imagine that you're breathing into this belly area. So it could be the kind of low belly, it could be that you want your hands onto your tummy so that you can feel that something is happening. It might be that you just want to go with the feeling of it, that you can feel it quite easily. So just go with what works best for you. And as you breathe in, you'll probably feel your belly expanding. So as we take more air into the lungs, our lungs press out and down through the tummy, so the tummy expands. You might feel the rib cage expanding, you might feel the rest of your body moving with the breath. And notice the difference. How does the inhale feel? How does the exhale feel? And then as you're just breathing in and out, just start to notice where else in your body. So obviously we're used to feeling the breath moving in this sort of area of the body. Now as you're breathing in, can you notice, is there any difference between the movement of your head or the way that your head is when you breathe in and out? These can be really subtle. Is there any sense of movement in the arms or the hands? Or it might be that it's the underside of the arms, so the armpit or the underarms that you feel it. And the legs. So when we're breathing, even subtly, our whole body is moving. So my challenge for you today is inspired by Matthias, a friend of mine from Berlin. He sent me a lovely blog all about solstice and gay pride, actually, is what it was. A lot of it was about. And, the kind of role of those who have a less specific gender. So less masculine, less feminine, a bit more of both. And I thought that was a nice inspiration for today's challenge. So today's challenge is to find those opposites within yourself. And it could be that you go for the masculine and feminine. So when I say masculine and feminine, I mean the traditional views of what masculine and feminine are, because I think that they are debatable, or many of them a bit debatable for many people. Not for all people, not for many. Me being one of them. So just looking for that within you so that you can celebrate what might be considered opposites. So I really like watching football, not a lot, but I really like watching football, and that might be considered generally a slightly masculine trait. I don't think it is at all, but these are the things that we play with society and the views of what we should be are and where that fits in. It might be that you prefer to play with young and old. I don't know, but you can play with just whatever works with those opposites and how you nestle into those. Because sometimes when we look at dichotomies, we become there's a feeling of more aliveness and more. Well, there we go, which is fun. Lovely quote for you today from Adnan Sarhan. You must fall in love with your own breath. Then you can begin to learn others. You must fall in love with your own breath. Then you can begin to love others. I thought it was such a lovely quote, yoga quote, just fabulous. I hope you have a super day, full of aliveness, full of contradictions if you like them, and full of settlement and stability if you like that. Thank you.